Hey everybody, it's Jeff, Aromatics. How's everybody doing? It's been a little while, but I'm on holidays now, so I finally got a chance to get out here and get caught up, do a few videos. I've been trying to take holidays for a while, but where I'm working, it's just been really busy. Some of the stuff that we make is also made in another sister plant in Mexico, and they can't keep up. So we're getting that business. So since it's been so busy, I haven't been able to get the holidays that I wanted. But I got this week off and the weather seems to be half decent. So what I thought I would do is take some time and go over my tobacco harvest. So just this week, I finally took all my tobacco down out of the shed that's been cured, bagged it all up, and I really wanted to try some of the tobacco, like to see what it was like fresh, do a video on it, journal it, and share it with you guys. So today, what I was going to do is, or what I have done, is I have got my cherry. This is a cherry, it's called Red Cherry, or Cherry Red Virginia, and it is a bright Virginia tobacco, but it does kind of cure to a kind of a reddish hue. We'll take it out of the bag and have a look at it. So this is freshly, like this is right as soon as you hang it up, and it cures, and then once the stem is dry and you can snap it, then it's time. You can take it down at any point and store it. So this right here is the Ligero. So this is the strongest. This would be like would be classified as a red Virginia. So I'll show you some of it right here. So that's from the top of the plant. Very interesting smell. When it's fresh, it's got a real, it's hard to explain. It smells like tobacco, of course, but it's kind of got this fresh, kind of a sour, almost a sickly sweet sourdough bread kind of thing going on in the background. It takes a while for it to open up and to get deeper in flavor and stuff. So yeah, that's what it looks like. For a Ligero, like for a top leaf, this is very it's very well done. You could actually practically use it for a wrapper on a cigar. So that's what it looks like. What I've done is I've got some of it shredded. See a picture of it there. Shredded it up, put it in my pipe, as well as I thought it would be interesting, since Virginia is also used in cigarettes, is to pack a cigarette up and smoke it and see what I think of it as a cigarette. Now, of course, the best way to deal with Virginias is to either air cure it and then ferment it, or you can just flue cure it, or build a little kiln and then kiln it, right from when it's fresh off the stalk. Or you can ferment it at any time after. So if I had to choose, my tobacco is just straight air cured with no fermentation. And a lot of tobaccos you can just age, depending, some tobaccos it takes a long time to age to get the flavors to really open up. And some tobaccos, like say burley, give them 6 months to a year and they're ideal. Virginias are supposedly a little bit pickier, but we'll see. So I've got some loaded up in my Andrew Cirgliano pipe. If I can find my lighter, we'll light it up and see what we're tasting. I really wasn't knowing, I really didn't know what to expect, because I've heard a lot of people say that their tobacco is really harsh, or that it burns hot. One thing I found is I've noticed that this Ligero, like the Red Virginia itself, it doesn't really burn the greatest. I'm relighting it quite a bit. May just be because I'm packing it really light. So believe it or not, you can retrohale it. It's got some spice, it's got some strength, so it's definitely, right from the start, it's a medium, like the high end of medium when it comes to strength. It's kind of got that, grassy hay type of flavor. There's a little bit of that tartness that a Red Virginia has. And it also has that kind of, I call it gamey. From last year's tobacco, I also noticed it too. All of it, when it's fresh right off, freshly cured, you get that tobacco taste, but you get that sweet, grassy thing in the background that I would call it gamey. It's just gamey tobacco, and it takes a while to either ferment that out, I imagine, or it just takes some aging and then it just kind of goes away. I did notice with my burley it did that. At first the burley was kind of sweet and light, and then as it aged for 6 months to a year, it gets that toasty dark taste. It opens up. So I'm guessing that's what this Virginia will do as well. Definitely, yeah, smokable. Tastes good. Tastes like a red Virginia. Getting as you smoke it down, it gets a little bit more tart. You get a little bit more of those kind of stone fruit type tastes. Yeah, so you're getting a little bit of tang there, but you're also getting that odd sweet grassiness as well. But not a hay, a real sweet grass. Not bad. Just that grassiness is just different than what I'm used to smoking over the the usual Virginias that you would buy at the store. Yeah, pretty good. I'm really can't wait for this to age for however long it takes, a year or so, or maybe I'll press some. And what I also want to do is take some of it and add some Perique. And I have a little bit of a flavoring that I came up with that I used on my other red Virginia that I like, the whole leaf that I actually bought that's already fermented, good to go. And it's kind of my McClelland's ketchupy, vinegary type of topping, although it's a little bit different. I think it would go really good with my own Virginia. So let's light up a cigarette and see what we're tasting here. So far, I like it. It's actually really smokable. It's not harsh. It's not disgusting. It's nothing like that. But I am interested in some other people's opinions. So if anybody is actually really interested in trying some of my tobaccos, whatever it is, either my Burleys or my Virginias or some of my cigar leaf, just straight, if you're interested in, you'd actually review it or talk about, at least just discuss what you're tasting, if you have a channel, that would be great. I'd really like to do that just so I can get someone else's opinion, because there's just no one around here that does what I do. Now, of course, I can find people that smoke cigarettes, and I can roll them up some and ask them what they think. Now, I know my Burley, my friends were like, yeah, they would smoke it. It tasted good. It was light. It was mild, which is surprising. That was pretty fresh back then when they tried it. Inhalable. To me, it just tastes like a mild cigarette. Not really tasting anything out of the ordinary. I mean, I don't smoke cigarettes, so I don't really know. No major characteristics, like nothing stands out. Like, I know that I've smoked half and half, and you can definitely tell that's a pipe tobacco. I've smoked my Burley, and you can definitely tell that's kind of toasty. I'd like to add my Burley to this, but I have to dig out my actual leaf, because my whole leaf, because the Burley tobacco that I shredded up and put in a jar, I was smoking it and enjoying it. I added some Perique to it, but then I wanted to try adding a maple flavor to it, and I added the maple flavor. And since my Burley, at least the Burley that I shredded up, was really light, the maple just took that just basically made it so it tastes like nothing. You barely get the maple flavor and you barely get the tobacco. So that's what happens with the aromatics. I don't know why. If you don't do it right, when they add flavoring to the tobacco, it just takes the flavor of the tobacco away. I can never figure that out, why it does that. It's pretty good, but you know what? I taste a lot of the paper. I wonder if people that smoke cigarettes, like, maybe they just get used to it, but if you're used to smoking straight tobacco, you can actually taste the paper. So I'm tasting a lot of the paper. On the retrohale, you can definitely taste the tobacco. But in a cigarette form, you kind of lose that red Virginia tangy. It just tastes like kind of just like a smoky cigarette. So also, if any of you, well, I guess I probably can't mail cigarettes, but if I did mail the tobacco, you could try rolling it in a cigarette and trying it if you're interested to see what it would taste like in a cigarette. Definitely can feel the nicotine hitting in this though, and which makes sense because this is the top of the plant, so it would have the most nicotine. I'll show you some of this leaf. So that's one of the bigger leaves. One of the smaller leaves. So yeah, this cured really nice. Well, one problem I've had with a lot of my leaf that I grew, like maybe a third of it, or maybe about a third of it, maybe a little bit more than that, the color wasn't as even as I wanted. You can't really tell on the Virginia tobaccos, but on the darker cigar tobaccos, you can see where some of it is lighter and then some of it's darker. And I think the reason is once that lamina, like once the main part of the leaf dries, if it ever at any point dries, that's where it stays. It dies, and then even if you moisten it up again, it will never continue to get darker. It just dries that color. So if it's green and it dries, it's going to be green. If it's a light brown and it dries, it's going to stay light brown. So the key is I have to try to keep the tobacco on those dry days, put some more moisture, some more humidifying machine, or I have a little vaporizer, so get the vaporizer going, and I did use that, but I think I used it too late. But by the time a lot of my tobacco already dried. So next year, if I decide to do this again, which I probably will, I'm gonna make sure that I use that vaporizer as soon as the humidity is gonna drop. Interesting. Yeah, pretty interesting. So that is my Cherry Red Virginia, and it's supposed to be a mild tobacco to begin with. So I imagine it depends on the seed. There might be some Virginias that you definitely need to flue cure to get the nice sweet flavors out of it. Now I have one more type of Virginia, and that's called Delhi, and it was actually grown. The seed was developed here in my area, and so maybe the next video I will talk about that leaf, and I'll compare it to this and see if it's any different. I'll make sure that I do the top leaf as well. So also check out, I can't remember, Trucking Piper. I'll leave a link down below. He's been growing his tobacco. I haven't heard from him in a while, so I'm wondering if his crop turned out. And also Velin's 13 Pipe, he also, just out of nowhere, did a video about him. He has a crop of tobacco, a bunch of different types, and he made a plug. So I'll also leave his link in the bottom below. Check out his videos if you're interested in this kind of thing. And yeah, so I guess I'll leave it at that. So if you guys are interested, let me know. I'll definitely then I'll for sure do more videos on each tobacco that I have. I have some Delhi Virginia, I have some Corojo cigar leaf, I have some Criollo cigar leaf, Black Mammoth cigar leaf, and I think that's all that I have. So if you guys are interested in what they look like and how they taste, right straight from straight cured before fermentation, I can do that, as well as I also have some tobacco from last year that's aged 1 year, and I have some Black Mammoth cigar leaf as well as some burley. So I'll probably do a comparison with the fresh Black Mammoth to my 1 year old Black Mammoth and see what the difference is. I know that particular cigar tobacco smokes great. I enjoy it personally, right freshly cured. So I'm interested to see how it does ferment over time. Okay, I guess I'll leave my video at that. This one's probably one of my longer ones, but I think it deserves to be longer with the amount of information that I've got going on here. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and definitely let me know what you think in the bucket below, and I will see you on my next video. So till then, Aromatics, signing out.